On my mind this morning, the Prime Minister's speech at the JLP mass rally in Halfway Tree on Sunday. And for a lot of different people, George, there were several political messaging highlights, but there is a lone feature that seems to be hitting the right chords every time it is intertwined in a message that the Prime Minister delivers on the political hustings. On Sunday night, when it was featured as someone who was in the thick of it, there was this swell of support to indicate it connected deep with the thousands that gathered there in Halfway Tree, some of whom were brought to tears. Ricardo and I and some others, when we got back to Broadcast House on Sunday night, were talking about it, how people actually cried. People actually cried in Halfway Tree during that messaging. So I'm speaking of the Andrew Holness story. The Prime Minister's life story was prominently carried in his presentation in his speech on Sunday. And it's a theme that he seems to be leaning into more and more, as it's one that is finding space in the psyche of many in the electorate, because simply they identify with what he's saying. This element of shared identity is becoming quite effective. And the Jamaican electorate, Georgian listeners, is made up of all different kind of people. A large cross-section of them, though, are what we here in Jamaica call, the trying people, are the trying youth, a trying man, the trying woman. In other words, no struggler. Yeah. So in other words, them not born with much and have used education and the hustle as their avenues of upward mobility. And that 56 Cumberland Road boardhouse story, a common feature of the Jamaican poor. For many, it's a boardhouse with the outside toilet and the outside kitchen that you remember. Many have lived it, and many in Jamaica, in different nook and crannies of the country, continue to live it. And the Prime Minister used his speech to reinforce his message that he's not far removed from the lived experiences of the ordinary Jamaican. Here's what he said.
I want to thank you, my family. You are my family. The struggles that you have gone through or are going through, I have gone through them, and I am going through them with you. It is not by mistake or by a courtesy that when I walk among the people, the elderly hold me and them say, "My son." People my age say, "My brother." And the young people them say, "Uncle." That is because they know they can identify with me as I identify with them.
It's a messaging that for some in the electorate brings them closer to the Prime Minister. You know, that relatability factor that you find with this sort of messaging. And he went further to say that his intimacy with the struggles, to illustrate what has his intimacy with the struggles illustrates what has strongly guided his administration policies across social housing, public transportation, and funding for tertiary education, among other areas.
Again, I used to have to take the taxi and bus to school. Sometimes I couldn't bother because you couldn't get it. Sometimes the taxi man don't want to take you. So I used to walk to school, and I didn't mind. When I started at university, myself and my wife Juliet will tell you that we used to take the bus. That time it was 250,000 bus. Right? It's from Spanish Town to university. We know the Jamaican struggle. No gold spoon, no privilege, no tapanaris. And that is why we make policy for the benefit of the people, because we know what the people go through. This is not something that we read in textbook. That is why we have made the investment in improving the JUTC. The JUTC is now the most efficient it has ever been. We are approaching close to $1 billion of savings in the JUTC.
Again, you're hearing, Georgian listeners, the messaging deciphered here, a leader connected to the experiences that drives the actions that you see in terms of policy making. And this also, for me, met the credibility mark, because he's not making up these experiences as he went along speaking with the people to try to connect. He really lived it, and he's speaking of his lived experiences that many ordinary Jamaicans have lived and are living. And the messaging on Sunday along the same theme of the ordinary Jamaican struggle went further to differentiate as well between leaders.
It was so bad that a member of their own party, a member of their own cabinet, a man of the cloth, a man who was a churchman, he had to comment, his conscience was pricking him. And he said this policy of the high interest rate was the greatest transfer of wealth from you, the poor people, to them. The man who claimed that he was a Tapanaris, he was the one who benefited. No poor person in Jamaica should ever allow that man to touch the economy, because he and his friend will go back to the high interest rate policies so that they can benefit from it and continue where they left off, of transferring wealth from you to their coffers. Whatever little I made in life, I made it just like you. I buy 2 taxi, then I open a taxi company, and I go through the struggles just like everybody else. I want to thank those who thought that by releasing documents that they would somehow diminish me. I am a true Jamaican. I went through the Jamaican struggles, and I never made any money on the backs of the Jamaican people.
Some have said, including, I saw Ricardo's post either yesterday or was it Sunday, where he says the Prime Minister has been sort of quiet on these issues, but certainly a fired up Dr. Holness, the Prime Minister and JLP leader that you saw Sunday night, who seems, George, to be taking a lead now on the platform, the political hustings, fighting back against the utterances and claims opposing his leadership and those arguments against his integrity. And it's an approach that certainly, as you can hear, energized the Labourite base, who are calling for their leader to push back. Let's take a listen to this final clip before I wrap what's on my mind.
Who is truly for Jamaica? Who is truly for Jamaica?
Me nah sell out my friend, me nah go this my friend, be a blessing we serve, please your guide and protect them. Nah sell out my friend, nah go this my friend.
Every day I read my Bible and I pray, and I want to thank all the Jamaicans who pray for me. Let me tell them and them friend, no weapon that they are conspiring to form against me shall prosper.
When I see my friends become my enemy, I am a far. No need no bar, 'cause I know the heart can't sweep it through. They are like the things they got.
You know, I am you, and you are me. We are one.
And as I wrap, George, the chants, quite the highlight for me, and it was evident that the Laborites were fully engaged with that message, that personal message from the Prime Minister that he intertwined in his presentation, talking about all the achievements of his administration. And you could see that they felt it, and it was understood what he was saying, and that Laborites left Halfway Tree Sunday night with their minds fed and their hearts filled as they make the sprint now to September 3. And that's what's on my mind.